What's going on, everybody? It's TheNidien, and what I wanted to do for you guys today was a little bit of a tutorial for this Colussus HD capture card that I bought the other day and have been trying ever since to get this to work properly. It's been a 3-day small nightmare, so to speak, of spending hours on the phone with Clay the Old School Gamer, calling Hauppauge a couple times, watching numerous tutorials all over YouTube on how to get this to work properly, among many other things. A lot different than what I expected, and a lot different than, say, just the HD PVR. Because for those of you guys that have an HD PVR from Hauppauge, know that you just plug in a couple component cables in, a couple component cables out, and then you hook up via USB, download some drivers, some software, boom, you're golden. And everything works with Sony. If you have Sony, everything works with Adobe Premiere if you have Adobe Premiere. And that just didn't happen with this Colussus due to a bunch of different issues. Because first and foremost, what you're going to see here is this is software here. It's a little bit different software. It reacts a lot quicker. The bit rate's a little bit different. I can go up to 20 megabytes per second, even higher than that if I wanted to a little bit, compared to the 13.5 on the Hauppauge. But the kicker is here, this audio format right here. This records in AAC audio. The HD PVR Hauppauge records in AC3 audio. Now, that might not mean much to you guys, but what the problem is, AC3 audio works with Sony Vegas. So, you can just pop your clips in, you'll get an audio clip. AAC audio doesn't work with Sony Vegas. You put it in, you'll get the video, but you'll get absolutely no audio. I called Hauppauge on it. Hauppauge says it's an issue. They're working on it with Sony. It's probably never going to be taken care of. They don't have an ETA, so I don't ever expect it to be taken care of until they release a new Colussus, and then things might change there. So that's one thing you got to really take into consideration. What that made me do was have to switch over to Adobe Premiere Pro and kind of learn that program within a day or two, up to the point where I could at least get videos out to you guys, and quality videos out to you guys, playing with render setting after render setting. And that's what all these stupid little icons are all over my desktop, is just a bunch of test runs trying to get it dwindled down, file size, and all that good stuff. So what I want to show you guys is how that I have to get this hooked up in order, to save you guys a bunch of mess, to save you guys some time, because this turned into, like I said, a small nightmare for myself to get this to work properly, to get this so I can do live comms here on the PC. Click a little button up here, boom, I switch over to the PS3, start recording through that. So as you can see, we have our video input and audio input as HDMIs. Now what Hauppauge is going to tell you if you do call them and you're trying to figure out how to get this running is that you're going to need 2 computers in order to do it. Now they don't mention that on their website whatsoever. I tried to find it, it doesn't happen, but the guy over on the phone told me that we needed 2 computers, which obviously is not the case because I don't have a second computer hooked up while I'm doing this. So what you're going to do is you're going to plug in, it's got component cables on the back, you're going to plug it in. If you have, it's a PCI 1 card, first and foremost, and you can put it in any other PCI slot. You can put it in a PCI 16 slot, you can put it in a PCI 4 slot if you want. It'll fit in there, it'll work in there. I actually had to put this in one of my PCI 16 slots because my graphics card was covering up my PCI 1 slots and it just didn't work right. So I made it fit right using my PCI 16 slot. So you can use that. That's something I didn't know until this. Even with my schooling, I didn't realize that you could stick a PCI 1 card in a PCI 16 slot. It's all the same. So we'll get that right out of the way. So once you do that, you're going to want to, if you do have an HD graphics card, I use an AMD 5770, and we're going to have to go into some settings here in the Catus Control Center in a second to show you guys a little bit, a few of the settings that are hooked up. But you're going to take an HDMI cord and plug it into the back of the Colussus, and then you're going to wrap it around and plug it in the back of your HD card. There's only 1 slot for an HDMI card. You can't really screw it up. It's no in and or out and all that other stuff. You just plug it into the back. You don't have to worry about really screwing out the output and the input. So once you got that, what you're going to see is when you open this up and set it to HDMI, what you're going to see is just a blank desktop. No icons are going to be anywhere. It's just a blank desktop, and I was wondering how you get that set correctly in order to start recording, because you're going to be like, I can't record anything. All it is showing me is a blank desktop. What is this crap? This is bogus. So what you're going to want to do is we close down this thing here. is go in and right click on your desktop and go to screen resolution. It's going to bring up this little screen here, and you're going to see that you're going to have an extra monitor. It may be, for example, I only have one monitor, so you're going to see monitor 1 and monitor 2. If you already have dual monitors, you're going to see 3 monitors up there. So you're going to have to set this to multiple monitors, whether you have 1, 2, or 3. And then what the big one right here is, you're going to want to go down to multiple displays and click on these, duplicate these displays. What you're most likely going to have is show desktop only on 1 or show desktop only on 2. If you have a dual monitor setup, you probably already might have this set up as duplicate these displays so you can see everything on all your monitors. Otherwise it gets a little fuzzy sometimes and all that other good stuff. So that's the first thing you're going to want to do, is go in here, like I said, right click your desktop, go to screen resolution, make sure this is on duplicate these displays, and what that's going to do is allow you to see exactly what you're looking at on your desktop on the ArcSoft software. And once you got that done, if you have an AMD, you're going to want to open up your Catalyst Control Center and change a couple options here. So what you're going to want to do is go to your My Digital Flat Panels tab, open that up, and go to your properties. You're going to want to check mark this Enable GPU Scaling, Scale Image to Full Size Panel, and enable ITC processing. For some of you this might already be checked, for others you might not have this checked. But what this does is allow a bunch of different things. I'm not going to get into the gist of everything it does, but just need to know that you got to have this checked. After you get that done here, you're going to want to go down this Scaling Options Digital Flat Panel. And you're going to see this. You're going to see this underscan, overscan, 15%, 0%. Now what that does is we'll open up this ArcSoft software again. We'll move it off to the side here a little bit. And what that does, as you see, I have it at 0% overscan. When you first open this up, it's going to be somewhere in here in the middle, and you're going to see the software here, and it's going to put this black border around the edge of your screen. And you're going to record like that, and then once you go to put it into a video editor, you're going to have to go in and fix it and all that other good stuff, and just puts quite a few more steps in your video editing. So you're going to want to bring that all the way up to 0% overscan. Whoops. And what that does is make it a full screen resolution, and then you don't have to worry about it. Click apply, and that's all we got to worry about in your AMD Catalyst Control Center as far as that goes. So that's all set up, and now you're going to wonder how to get some sound. And this became a big issue for me because I could record with some sound, I couldn't do any live comms, and I couldn't hear anything out of my speakers while I was recording. And that's a big thing. If you're going to be playing video games, you're going to want to hear out of your speakers, out of your headset, as well as recording the sound. So that was a big thing for me, and this is what took the longest to kind of figure out as to what was going on there. So we're going to move this out of the way, and here we go with the sound settings. So what you're going to want to do is go down to your little speaker box down here and right click on it and open up your playback devices. And you're going to see that I have an AMD HDMI output, and you're going to see the little voice going up in here and down as I'm talking. I got my speakers, and I also have an optical cable that I hooked up to the Colussus that I've been playing with and trying to get it work through there. It hasn't been working out too well for me, so I got to change some options and get to playing with it. But seeing how this works, and it's working good so far, we're going to keep it like that. So you're going to have these two options here. You're going to have speakers and the AMD HDMI output are the only things we're going to be worried about. If you have a NVIDIA card, it's going to say something like Colussus, high definition audio output for whatever graphics card you have. It's a little bit different, but it's the same premise. You're going to have your speakers checkmarked as the default device, and this is in order to hear stuff out of your headset. If you hook a headset up, it's going to be, you know, out of your speakers if you have speakers hooked up. So you're going to want to leave that as the default, and then notice that we have the AMD HDMI output. We haven't changed any options in that whatsoever. Here's where it gets a little tricky. You're going to want to go to your recording tab, and you may or may not have this stereo mix here. If you don't see this stereo mix here, you're going to want to right click and check mark the show disabled devices, and what that will do is it'll pop the stereo mix up there, and then you can set it to your default device simply by clicking on it and then clicking on set default. What that's going to do is allow a playback between your computer with the HDMI and your actual HDMI interface with your, you know, your Realtek or whatever have you. So once you click that on your default, you're going to want to highlight it, right click on it, go to the properties, and what we're going to want to do is go over here to the Listen tab. You're going to want to check mark Listen to this device, and you're going to have a bunch of options down in here. Make sure it's set to AMD HDMI output, and again, if you have a NVIDIA card, it'll be Colussus high definition audio output or something on those lines. I'm not exactly sure what it says, but it's something on those lines. You'll notice which one it is. So that'll allow the playback of what you're recording to your speakers. So you're going to have everything set up correctly and all that other good stuff. Now, in order to do a live comm through this software, you're going to have to hook up your microphone, and we're going to set this up just like we did our stereo mixer. We're going to go in here, right-click on it, Properties, go to the Listen tab, click Listen to this device, AMD HDMI output as playback through this device. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do live comms through this software. You can do it, you know, like a lot of people do. They use Audacity, they use Sony, record their voice, then sync it up. But if you want to go a lot easier with a live comm, you can simply do it like this. Also, if you're going to do a live comm, you're going to want to go back into, we'll cancel out of this, you're going to want to go back into your stereo mixer, go to Properties, and we're going to go to the Levels tab, and you're going to start having to play with your levels. If you're not doing a live comm, you may want to set it all the way back up to 100, so you don't have to go in and, you know, up your audio decibel levels with either Adobe or Sony to bring them up to acceptable levels for a video. And if you're doing a live comm, you're going to want to drop it down to a roughly around 5. I could probably go down to about a 3 or a 4, and what that's going to do is allow your voice to override the game volume. Anything higher, I found, the game volume it overrides your voice and you can't really hear yourself talking whatsoever. But 5 and below seems to work really, really well. You'll have to play with it, see what acceptable levels are for you guys. I still have to play with it, but 5 is where I'm going for right now. But that's a big one there. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to hear yourself talking. You may think that your live comm's not working correctly. It's working. You just need to set your stereo mix down and go from there. So that's how you do this as far as a live comm. That's what you need to set up to get the audio to work when you record, as well as hear it through your speakers at the same time. If you have anything mixed up, you may be able to record with audio, but you're not going to be able to hear anything out of your speakers, and it kind of negates the whole purpose of this card to begin with. I mean, who wants to play games with the volume turned all the way down and then listen to themselves play the game later on when you look at the video? Nobody does. So this is how you do it, and you can play your games just like anything else. So we'll shut this down, and one thing you need to know here is you're going to want to go into your right click again and go into your volume mixer, and you're going to want to mute the ArcSoft Showbiz. You're going to see it underneath the speakers. You may see it in here if you don't have it set up properly. You see my microphones going up, you see the AMD HDMI devices going up, and then if you go back to speakers, the ArcSoft here is going up, but I have it muted. So if I unmute that, what I'm going to do is get infinite loop feedback through the speakers. It may be like a ch-ch-ch and get louder and louder and louder as you open this up, and you see how this thing starts creating an infinite loop of desktops, and every time it does that, it gets louder and louder and louder. And also, if you're talking, like if I was to unmute that right now, we'd start hearing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of me saying the same thing over and over and over again. That's simply taken care of by muting the ArcSoft Showbiz software throughout your speakers, and then you won't have to listen to that, and it will still record properly. So I hope this helps you guys out. Like I said, it seems easy, but if you don't really know what you're doing, and you're wanting to, I don't know if it's technically an upgrade, it'll save you from screwing around with fraps. Fraps file sizes are huge, the quality's great, but the quality's good through this, and the file sizes are much, 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 much smaller than what you're dealing with fraps, and then you don't have to deal with 2-minute segments either. You get one big long recording, and you can go from there, cut it up how you want. It's a lot easier to use, and it's, you know, it also saves you $37 from fraps and then you still have to have your HD PVR if you want to record your other software. So it's something to look into, and this will help you guys out if you do pick up a Colussus, how to set it up and set it up properly and to get it work properly for you, because, you know, saving time is always a good thing, and we don't want anybody getting frustrated. I actually almost just said screw it and return the card, to be completely honest. But now that I got it up and running, and hopefully it holds out on me, we'll see, and go from there. But that's what I got for you guys today. I hope I help you guys out. Sorry I missed out on Military Monday. That's going to resume next week. I've just had to try to get this software corrected, get it up and running right. I had to learn Adobe Premiere Pro within a day to kind of get you guys some videos. All this other mess I got all over the place here is simply do test runs after test run after test run with render settings, and we got it all fixed and we got it all set. So everything's going to commence back to normal as usual after this little tutorial. So as always, guys, keep your heads up. Have a great day. Peace. What's going on, everybody? I just want to let you guys know you can check out my playthrough of Azura's Wrath over on Tour de Force. Let me know what you think and let me know what you guys want to see next. Also, you can check out my last video, a little bit of Borderlands, and we talk about a few things such as Coney. Hit that subscribe button and head on over to Twitter, Justin TV, and my fan page at Facebook.com. I hope to see you guys there soon. And as always, keep your heads up. Have a great day. Peace.